you know, 2020 was 5 years ago. Um, and I've talked about before how that year was the year where where things really changed for me personally. Um, so I wanted to talk about today about what really matters. Before 2020, and I'll get to the point soon. Before 2020, I was always just like living. I was always just like, I was in school and like I was kind of just living on autopilot. I wasn't living each day. I was just kind of like I was kind of like fast forwarding through life, and I've talked about this before how I do that a lot. And I was just depressed. I was very miserable. I was very just insecure and just unhealthy and just I was really just I was not it was not good. I didn't realize it. That's the thing is like I didn't think there was anything wrong. I just thought that I was just, you know, something, something that I do a lot that I've noticed that I do a lot is I tend to minimize my I tend to minimize my own emotions a lot. I tend to minimize my feelings, especially like negative feelings, mostly negative feelings. So whenever I'm like experiencing something negative, I tend to just distract myself. I tend to, you know, um and I was actually thinking about this today where like there's this like I feel like there's this like pressure that to like be happy, to like always to like I never cuz I remember growing up I always like cuz like as any human you have your emotions. You have your positive and your negative emotions and they all matter. They all matter. But I remember being younger and I still feel this I guess to this day where like I remember whenever I felt sad, I just felt incredibly guilty. I felt incredibly guilty. I felt ashamed of myself. Like, why am I so sad? Why am I so sad? Why am I feeling this way? And I think that just comes from like there's this perceived like and I don't think social media helps. I think social media kind of makes it worse because when you're scrolling through social media, you're just seeing everybody at their you're seeing everybody's highlights and you're seeing everybody looking their best, smiling, always happy, always positive, and it just makes, you know, and it also like it caused me to like invalidate my feelings. It caused me to like it just and I'm not blaming just social media. It's just I just would always like distract myself and also just invalidate my own sadness. And then but that even just made me but then I would distract myself by eating food and just um eating junk food and then I would feel even worse about myself. So it's just yeah. It's just no good. But getting back to the point of the video, but like when we went on when everybody went on lockdown in 2020, that was the first time where like because I talked about before then, like I was just everything just felt so fast paced for me, and I don't know if this is just a me thing. I don't know, but like everything just felt so like fast paced. Like I felt like I couldn't slow down in life. Like I felt like I don't know if this is like an anxiety thing. I always felt like God, I just like don't have time for anything. I did, but like I didn't. Um, but when everybody just went on lockdown, it was the first time where like everything just slowed down. Everything just stopped. And but I should talk about, and I've talked about this before, but like I remember back in January, I started like I started eating healthier, and I started like taking better care of myself. So then on lockdown, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'll just start. I'll just keep going with that. And like it was the first time where like I really just it forced me to like really, I don't know. And I was only 17 at the time. But it just forced me to like kind of think for the first time. It forced me to reflect for the first time. Like 2020, I probably matured the most. Not the most, but I matured a lot in that year. And especially in that like in that lockdown period, I matured a lot because it was the first time where I like took time to actually sit and just reflect and just like think for a minute. And I grew a lot from that. And it really just, and from that point forward, like it's really just it's changed. And even now, like I'm more so I have this because I sometimes I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like I want like it just made me like when I was like sitting and just like thinking, and I really just like realized that like a lot of the things that were in my life, a lot of the people that were in my life, I didn't really like, you know? I didn't really care about. And that just so yeah, like I cut out a lot of people. I and I think, and this goes in turn with everything, like healing and just like I'm where like I'm a lot more careful with who I spend my time around. I'm a lot more careful with who I let into my life. Um and it also just like gave me this idea of like, okay, what really matters in life? Like when life really slows down, you really just start to focus on the things that matter and the things that are important. Um yeah. Yeah. And I just realized, like, man, why do I worry about the dumbest stuff in the world? I worry about it's just, it's hard to explain. I know some people are probably gonna misinterpret this, but whatever. Um, but yeah, like it was just a really important year for me. And it really was a really eye-opening year for me. And I just wanted to share that because it's been on my mind. And the people who watch these videos listen to me talk. So yeah, it just, and now it's like I'm a lot more. And now I'm just like kind of just like I'm very comfortable just being alone, and I realized, I've kind of like, hopefully this doesn't make me sound too like arrogant, but I've always kind of been an old soul. I've always kind of been like, I don't care about much. I don't worry about the stupid shit in life. I've always, because I'm a lot more comfortable just spending time alone. And I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. I'm probably missing some things that I'm gonna regret later. But yeah. But I just wanted to share that because I don't remember what I just said. but I just wanted to share that because that was a big year for me. It was a really big important year for me, that where I grew a lot. And yeah, I think about that year a lot. And I'm really proud of myself for everything I've done.